recording.
Hi all, my name is Aviva. As I'm sure a lot of you on the call will know, I'm a school teacher. I've been teaching for 13 years. I teach children with special needs. And a few of us were coming on tonight to talk about our Healthy Starts for Families program. So it's an incredible program where any adult that's on the products are able to get free product for, I say a child, but it's actually a young person. They're between the ages of 4 and 21, and they're entitled to free product for up to 4 years, which is absolutely incredible. It was the reason I originally started taking the products. I had a daughter at the time who was 15 years old and vegetarian, but barely eating any fruit and vegetables. And I spoke to the lovely Michelle at a yoga class, who you will be hearing from later, and heard that I could actually get free for my child these capsules that had 17 different types of fruit and vegetables. And for me, it was an absolute no-brainer. I was so worried about her diet. And, you know, they're very much at 15 years old. You can't sort of get a teenager to sit at the table and make them eat what you put in front of them. Not sure you can do it when they're any younger either. And for me as a school teacher, I have been through many, many years teaching where I literally have had cold every 4 to 6 weeks, and that's not an exaggeration. I work one-to-one, children with special needs. They are not the most hygienic beings, and I mean children in general. You know, I see them wiping their nose with their hand, and then of course they go and touch the door handle to leave the room. And you know, I actually had a period where I did not have a cold for 2 years, and to me that's absolutely incredible. Now, this product is not to say that you will never get ill, not at all. I was actually ill last winter, but the improvement in my immunity is so huge, which is where I get the passion for these products from. So I'm going to introduce you first to the lovely Vera, because she still has little ones at home and I know her time is limited. So she may want to talk and then have to leave us. So Vera, the floor is
Hi.
yours.
Hello, thank you for having me. Good evening. Good to have you back.
Oh, thank you.
So, straight to the main topic, which is kids. So I'm a mom of 2. My youngest is 3 and my eldest is 8. And we have been taking the products, all of us, so all 4 of us, since 3 years ago, which means that my youngest was a baby then. So she was about 4 months old. And I remember hearing at the beginning, the woman who introduced me to the product saying, oh, you know, you can open the capsules and put it in her milk. It's going to boost the immune system, or in the porridge when she starts eating. I was like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. It sounded a bit, I don't know, to this, that, or the other. But when you get immersed into reading what is inside it, and at that point I was already a major ingredient reader, which on the other hand brought me to start reading and questioning all the multivitamins and all the syrups that we were recommended from the health professionals or from friends, and just seeing them around in the local shops. And it made me realize that all the things that I was supposed to start giving this little child was mostly first ingredient sugar, etc., and added vitamins, which made me start reading all these things and getting really into nutrition. And it has opened a whole new world to me. And when the person who introduced me to these said that the kids can get them free, so at that time my youngest was 4, I said, okay, let's try it. If this is the best thing that I've seen out there. I read it all. She was telling me that her and her daughter haven't been sick, and I really have to say that Now when someone says, you know, oh, it's that time of the year, the weather is like this and like that, and now I realize that it has nothing to do with the weather, it has to do with our immune system. So if your immune system is backed up with nutrition every single day, is not going to get down so easily. And that's exactly what has been happening for the last few years. And even if they did get something, which it didn't happen very often, it would honestly go away within a day or two. It would just be like a runny nose and then it's gone. It wouldn't last. Like, you remember with my eldest or even with myself, I used to, when I'd get ill, it would last 5 days, a week. I would feel down. I would feel, you know, be in the bed, and Audrey was the same. Whereas since having these every single day, that hasn't happened. We've missed days very rarely from school. And it has literally just been a minor thing where we all have bounced off very quickly.
I mean, people tend to dismiss colds, don't they? But actually, they make you feel really awful. You know, they really do. They make you feel incredibly tired.
It doesn't help when you need to be still taking care of little ones and you're not feeling great yourself, and you have to be a mom, you have to do school runs, you have to do, you know, all the normal things that you need energy for, and you can't be in bed getting better for days. So that was quite a big eye-opener. Or after a while realizing that they didn't happen, or they would go away really quickly. And it was the same with whoever I've spoken to or recommended these products to. They would say the same thing, like, oh, my kid would be ill every single winter, and when they started this, it would be one winter and another winter, and they wouldn't get. And it's an amazing feeling when you hear people telling you that because of you just speaking so openly about something that I have tried, experienced, loved, and shared with other moms, that they could get the same benefits for free if they get the products.
Yeah, because, you know, at the end of the day, we are talking about whole food nutrition. We're talking about fruit and vegetables, guaranteed, no herbicides, no pesticides, non-GMO, all batch tested. You know, it's not an isolated vitamin like the ones you would have been viewing in the shops and, you know, reading the product label for. In fact, we have a food label.
It actually makes me quite angry knowing that this is the alternative, and the alternative is ignorance, because you were recommended that by health professionals. That's what you see around you. You don't see people so that's what you know, and you go for what you know until you start questioning, is this good for me? And I'm really happy that this health debate or awareness is reaching a higher point now, where we are becoming more aware of what we put in. And for me, well, I guess it's actually going back to the basics, isn't it? Food was the main thing on the table, or was the gathering place for families, and we've gotten so away from that, and now we seem to be slowly coming back into discussing about food. And I have also realized that with my kids, it's become, we bring the conversation about food and what is good for you and what isn't is part of our daily conversations. And I think as a mom, it's my responsibility to teach them the best I can and show them what is out there.
Benefits as well of the products that your children are then, the discussions there, you're becoming more aware.
Absolutely. They know what is inside. They do the stickers. They can tell you which one is a broccoli, what the green ones contain. And I have a 3-year-old who can tell me half of this one has all these green stuff that maybe not many 3-year-olds know. And I couldn't be happier knowing that I've had something to do with it, and it's a company who decided to invest and make this amazing program that we're speaking about tonight.
Mm. Well, thank you so, so much, lovely. I know it's really hard for you to get on tonight. I will let you get back to the kiddies, and it's so nice to see you again.
Likewise. See you. Bye.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so I want to introduce you to the lovely Michelle, who I mentioned to you earlier. She was the lovely yoga teacher that first introduced me to the products. So, Michelle, hello.
Hey, nice to see you.
There you are. I see you properly now.
Yeah. Well, I
so
can
I
relate
know
to everything that Vera has just said and that you've said yourself. And my journey with Juice Plus started almost 18 years ago, when my little boy was coming up for his third birthday. But he was a really, really fussy eater and kind of had to be force-fed anything that was green and vaguely healthy. You know, we played the trains and the planes and the buses, whatever, just to persuade him to eat it. And I'd gone along to, I didn't know what I was going to, I just knew it was a health talk. And I listened to the doctor speaking, and he put up a slide just showing the levels of antioxidants. And it was just like, oh my goodness, you get all of that from eating fruits and vegetables in capsules that you can get on that daily consistent basis. So instantly I knew it was something that I wanted for myself. My background is that as a health and beauty therapist, so I knew it was something I wanted to share with my clients. I was also thinking about my very fussy 2-year-old and just knowing that this would be absolutely perfect, because there was a children's version. For the adults, it's a capsule and it's powdered. The powdered fruits and vegetables go into the capsule, but for children, it's a chewable. And I just thought, that is going to be perfect. That's going to take away so much of my mealtime stress. So I was really excited about starting him on that. And amazingly, within a very short space of time, probably less than 6 weeks, I noted, because I'd always put, you know, a few broccoli florets or, you know, a handful of peas or whatever on his plate, he actually naturally started eating them himself without me sort of force feeding him. So that was really interesting. It was almost like through Juice Plus, he was getting all of this goodness, but then he naturally started to want it rather than having to be force fed. So that for me was a real revelation. But fast forward, because he's now been taking that product for nearly 18 years. So there he is now at university. And, you know, I look back and sometimes, you know, it's very easy to take this product for granted, having been on it for that length of time. And it's only when you think about how incredible it's been, because, you know, in the early years with Chart Gosling, he started taking it before school. But when he started at school, I can remember teachers saying things like, oh yes, you know, he's got that part in the school play because we know he's never ill. So at the Christmas play and things like that, because he literally didn't have a day off through sickness, and he went all through school. I think he had something like 2 days off, you know, I mean, really incredibly lucky with his health. That's not to say he never got a cold, but if he did, it was a very, very mild version, and he got over it very quickly. And I'm, you know, I touch wood as I say it, feel so, so blessed that he's not had any sort of illness, anything more than the odd cold. Even down to, you know, starting university last year. And in fact, prior to that, he went to boarding school. And I can remember, you know, him being in a dormitory and ringing and saying, Mum, you need to send some more Juice Plus because so-and-so's not very well, and so-and-so's ill. And he was sort of feeding all the children in his
he wanted his friends to have it.
Because he said, this is awful. They're all poorly, and, you know, he wasn't getting poorly. So, you know, he saw the value of taking it for himself from, you know, from a really, really young age. And now at, you know, 20 years old, he's pretty passionate about Juice Plus. And I know he's somebody that really does burn the candle at all ends. And he, you know, takes full part in everything that goes on at university. But he's very, very fortunate that you know, he manages with doubling up on Juice Plus. Sometimes I think he just takes handfuls to keep himself going, because he's managing sometimes, I think, purely on alcohol and very little sleep. And if it wasn't for Juice Plus, I don't know where he'd be. But he is forever grateful for it. And you know, now I can see him talking to some of his university friends, because they're actually saying, so what is it that you're taking? You know, and I remember last year with you know, them all going down with Freshers flu, and again him saying, Mum, you've got to send some more, because he was running out of his normal supply. and he's already back at Cardiff Uni in the midst of Freshers Week. So
well, it's actually quite incredible that the company used to offer the product up to the age of 18. And of course, now with them extending that to age 21, it's absolutely perfect for our youngsters going off to university.
Absolutely.
And it's just the time when you really feel that you want them to be supported by good nutrition.
Totally, and you know it's a time when they're really not. You know, perhaps for some people, some children leaving home, it's the first time they've had to fend for themselves in terms of cooking and that sort of thing. So I think for most mums, it is a worry when they go off to uni, thinking, what are they eating? You know that they are going to be partying probably harder than they've ever partied before.
Yeah.
And the alcohol levels are probably higher than they've ever been. And it is a big worry not to think of them not getting the amount or the correct nutrition that they need to combat some of the effects of
it really is. I mean, I am so happy that we have this security blanket, and that's what it is. It's not to say that you don't want them eating very healthily, because you do, but if you've got that as a backup. And I think the only other thing I wanted to say was that people have this free product through Juice Plus company with an adult taking the product. But the one thing that the company asks of them is that they fill out a very quick survey. I think now it's only once a year, and it takes literally 2 or 3 minutes to say the changes that they've noticed in their youngster, whether that be a 4 or 5 year old or a 20-year-old. And it's through that study that they have proven that 89% of adults filling in that email, which is just a tick box email, 89% notice a difference in their child's health.
Yeah.
Which is, wow.
And that goes through to things like, better academic performance, better sports performance, drinking more water, making healthier choices, eating naturally, wanting to eat more fruits and vegetables, which is what I saw Charlie doing as a 3-year-old. So it carries on all the way through. Less visits to the doctor, less days missed from school, which, as a busy working mum, that was really important, that I could still, see my clients because Charlie always went to school. So there's so many benefits from it, and the fact that the children get that product free. And I think for some parents, they thought about it first, perhaps yourself in a way. It was really for your daughter that you wanted the product, and you became second. It's like, oh right, well I'll get it for Corinne, but yes, I'll start taking it. And then of course you had the incredible results that you got as well. So,
as a school teacher, and as I said, we're building up the immunity, but of course as a teacher I also see the impact on kids if they're not at school regularly.
Yeah, and the same for myself, because so working with clients, people coming in, if somebody came in with a cold, guaranteed I would pick it up. And definitely I used to get probably 4 or 5 colds every single year, guaranteed. And then again, it was something that, it takes a little bit of time to realise, because you might be taking the products for a few months, it might not be throughout the winter, but certainly when you get, gosh, I didn't get a cold that last year. Wow, that's another year I didn't get a cold. And probably, over that almost 18 years, I've probably now only had, I don't know, I'm not counted, but maybe, 4 or 5 colds over that whole period. So, that is quite a, it's a huge thing. And as you said, the impact of a cold, although it's quite, something that we easily dismiss, oh, it's just a cold, but actually you feel flipping rotten with a cold, which I think it's because of it's just a cold. That's probably why it is passed on, because people do try and struggle on with it. And obviously those germs are being passed on. So just to know that, as you say, it's very much an insurance policy. Not to say that we'll never get another cold, but if we do, I tell you what, I always double up anyway. So it seems to nip it in the bud before it ever really takes a hold. And that usually sorts me out.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Michelle.
Oh, my pleasure.
Been invaluable to you guys. I just wish I had known a lot more when mine were a lot younger. But thank you so much.
They're on it now.
Portugal, they are, and we would be without it. Yes. So thank you to you, and thank you again to Vera, and we will talk soon.
Take
Bye,
care, everybody.
ladies. Bye.
Bye, Vera. Bye.
Good evening.
Bye.